Hello, a very good morning to all of you, Class 8. I hope you all are doing well at home and taking good care of yourself. Welcome back to the English class. Today we will read a lesson from English Supplementary Reader, lesson number 2, Children at Work. In the last few classes, we have been doing writing activity. We've learned letter writing, formal and informal, and many of you have done their homework and have sent me. One common mistake which I see is although you follow the format correctly, but the format is not aligned. That means it is the sender's address will start, but the date is not written in the same line, and then the subscription is not in the same line. So please make sure that the format, you follow the format, and it should be all in line, aligned. Okay, that is what I'm trying to say. And one more thing, you all need to work on the body of the letter. Okay, body of a letter, how to convey, that is very important. So that is a small feedback about your letter writing exercise. Let us now do a reading activity. Today we will read this lesson and I will do the explanation of this lesson. Children at work. Now students, tell me, have you seen children without children around the city or on the road? They are working, they carry maybe a sack of they are collecting bottles and papers from the dustbins. Have you seen some children around the city or in the on the roadside? Have you? Yes, you must have seen many children like that. Children who should be in the school, uh, you know studying. We see many of them roaming around and doing different kind of work, right? They're doing different kind of manual work. Why do you think they do this work? There might be many reasons, right? But one of the reason is many of these children in the city, you see, they are runaways means who run away from their homes. Okay, and they run away because of some problem, because they are not happy at home, or they because of some problem they run away and they live in the cities and feeding themselves by doing some odd works like picking up rags or collecting plastic bottles and papers from the dustbins. You will come across a lot of children like that. So today we are going to read similar story about a boy called Velu, who is an 11-year-old boy and who runs away from his home. Okay, let's read the story. This is the introduction of the story. There are many reasons why children have to work. Some help their family make a livelihood. Others who run away from unhappy homes need to support themselves. Children who have to work can't go to school and play like other children of their age. Like I told you, may they work for many reasons, and many children are runaways, right? And they have to work to feed themselves. Part 1. Velu, an 11-year-old boy, runs away from home. He wanders around for hours before getting on a train to Chennai without a ticket. Tired and hungry, he doesn't know where to go when a stranger at the station shouts a word of welcome. This is the introduction of part 1. Let us read. When the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, it took Velu some time to get off. When he finally stood on the platform, his legs felt wobbly, as if he was still on a moving train. "Oi, out of the way!" A porter went by with a loaded trolley. Velu jumped aside. So, in this first paragraph, we see that um, Kanyakumari Express, it is the name of a train. Okay, when it stopped, pulled in, that means it stopped at Chennai Central. Velu, Velu is the name of our the main character of the story. Okay, he got off, that means he got down from the train, and when he stood on the platform, his legs were wobbly. Wobbly means unsteady. It happens when you are traveling in a train, when the train is a constant motion. Suddenly you get off from the train, you will feel your body is still, moving. You all must have experienced that. And the Velu also, he felt that his legs felt wobbly. He was unsteady, as if he was still moving on a train. And then he was suddenly called out a porter. A porter means people who are employed, especially in railway stations, to carry luggages. Okay, he said, move out of the way. He sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people except once a year at the fair in his village. People walked by, bumping into him with their suitcases. A voice announced something on a loudspeaker. So this is a normal scene of a railway station. So this was all very new to 11 years to this 11-year-old boy, and he had never seen so many people in his life except once when he visited a fair with in his village. So the whole scenario was, the whole surrounding was completely new for Velu, and it looked very chaotic to him, because usually the situation in a atmosphere in a railway station is of chaos. People are coming in, getting down from the train and getting into the train. There's porters running around, there's announcement going on. So it was altogether very chaotic for the boy, especially because he had never seen anything like this. He had never seen so many people, and he was all alone. It was the first experience for him, right? Near him, a group of people sat on their luggage, looking at a TV hanging from the roof. The noise was terrible. Yes, all of us have experienced this. When we go to the railway station, it is very noisy and it is very, very chaotic. A normal scene in a railway station. Velu put his head down on his knees, feeling miserable and exhausted. He was feeling miserable and exhausted because of the whole journey and the whole surrounding. He was finding it very, very chaotic, and he was feeling miserable and exhausted, very tired because of the journey. He had run away from his village 2 days ago. For 2 days he had not eaten. He had eaten nothing but some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. Jaggery means gur. Okay, so Velu was tired, he was exhausted. He had been traveling in the train for the last 2 days, and he had eaten nothing except some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. In his bundle, he carried a shirt, a towel, and a comb. Now, children, you can imagine 11-year-old boy who is traveling all alone, and he says that he ran away from his village. Obviously, he was traveling without a ticket, right? And he had not eaten anything also properly. So he did not, if you don't have a ticket, you don't have a place to sit. So he has traveled very uncomfortably throughout this journey, the journey of 2 days, and he was hungry. So this made him very miserable and very, very exhausted. Okay. And all he had in that bundle, a small bundle he was carrying, was a shirt, a towel, and a comb. That is all the boy was carrying with him. He walked for most of the first day to Kannur and then got on the train to Chennai. Velu had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector didn't come to the unreserved compartment. He had tried to sleep on the floor near the door. A group of men next to him had played cards and shouted all night. This is a very normal scenario in when you are traveling without a ticket. You will not get a place to sit, and then you will have to, make a place wherever you could. So Velu, he tried to sleep near the door on the floor, but he could not sleep. But he was lucky because the ticket collector, TT, we call it TT, ticket collector, did not visit the unreserved compartment. Otherwise, he would not have completed, Velu could not have completed the journey. Hey, what, new to town? Ah, called out a rough voice. Velu opened his eyes. There were a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. Here, hey! So he could hear somebody calling out to him. He looked around, but nobody was looking at him. He heard that call. He turned around. Behind him was a girl around his own age, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees. So this children, when the narrator describes this, the image of this girl, it is very, very easy to imagine such children in railway stations. Especially in railway stations, you will come across many children in railway station who are very badly dressed, and you can see from their faces they are untidy, they are they have not eaten properly, they are dirty, and they are picking up used bottles and papers from dustbins. So it is a very, very common scene in a railway station. Okay, her hair was stiff and brownish, and she had a huge sack on one shoulder. She was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them into her sack. Why is she calling me? Thought Velu. And why is she wearing a banyan? So Velu says that the girl was wearing a banyan which was coming down to her knees, and she was carrying a big sack, and she was picking up used plastic cups and stuffing them inside her sack. So it was altogether a very it's a first time experience for Velu to be in a city, and it looked quite strange to him that why was this girl dressed up wearing a banyan, and why was she carrying this sack, and why was she collecting this rubbish. So it was very strange to Velu because he has come from a village and he has never seen anything like this, right? No need to stare stupidly. What's your name? Velu muttered. Velu looking away. So the girl says that, don't stare at me like a fool. What is your name? So Velu tells his name, in a slow voice. Muttered means in a slow voice, in almost inaudible. You can almost not hear. So Mr. Velu, said the girl, looking at his bundle. Run away from home? So the girl sounds, quite smart, and she says that, okay, so Mr. Velu, are you run away from home? She could guess it, that with that bundle and all alone sitting in a railway station, he must be a runaway from home. And it is very normal scene in a railway station, right? Velu didn't answer. He didn't want to tell some strange girl what he had done. He had run away because he couldn't stand his father beating him for one more day. His father would snatch away all the money Velu and his sisters earned and spend it on drink. So this is the story of Velu's house. He did not, although he did not want to share this story with this girl because she was a stranger to him at that point, but he had run away from home because his father would take away all the money Velu and his sisters would earn, and he will spend it on drinking. And Velu says that he would get beating every day, so he ran away from to escape from that scenario. Don't think I don't know. This place is full of children like you. So what are you going to do here? Become rich? So the girl says, don't think that I don't know. This place is full of children like you. She sat down next to him. Velu shifted away slightly. He felt hunger pinching him and pressed his stomach with a grimace. Hungry? Asked the girl. You won't get food by sitting here glummy, making faces. I can find some if you want. So the girl offered help to Velu because she could make out that with the expression on Velu's face, he was hungry, right? And the girl says that you cannot get food if you sit glummy. Glummy means, which is glummy is a yes, sad or gloomy, okay? And grimace means to make a face due to some pain. So he says that if you sit sadly and gloomingly like this, you will never find food for yourself. I can find you some food if you want. She picked up her sack and started to walk away. Velu stayed on the bench. What should he do? Should he follow this girl? Where was she going to take him? She was disappearing into the crowd, so he had to make up his mind quickly. All right, he decided. Anyway, I have no idea where to go. He jumped up and ran after her. She wasn't even looking back to see where he was. Okay, so this is the end of the first part. I will continue the second part in the next class. Let us discuss this. Velu stood on the platform, but he felt as if he was still moving in a train. Why? Because his feet were feeling wobbly, and this is a normal experience that when you get down from from a train, you feel that your body is still moving in a train, right? What made him feel miserable? Exhaustion and hunger made him very miserable. Velu traveled without a ticket. Why? Because he had no money. How did he escape the ticket collector's attention? We get to know that the ticket collector did not visit the unreserved compartment. Why had Velu run away from home? He had run away to escape his father's beating, who would take away all the money earned by Velu and his sisters and spend it on drinking. Why did he decide to follow the strange girl? Because he was new in a place, he was hungry, and he did not know where else to go. So she was the first person he met, and she offered to help him find food. Okay, so this is the little discussion on comprehension check and explanation of part 1. I hope you all have understood part 1. Children, I would encourage all of you to please read the story at home.